God has called all of us to bring the gospel to our generation. Proverbs 11:30 says, the fruit of the righteous is a tree of life, and he that wins souls is wise. So God can use you to win souls. That's not only for an elite few. I believe that's for every follower of Jesus, and I'll explain why I believe that in a moment. But if there's one thing that Christians and non-Christians have in common, it's this simple fact: we're both uptight about evangelism. Christians are uptight about sharing their faith, and non-believers are often uptight with being spoken to about God. I remember before I was a Christian, we used to hide from the Christians. And, we would be down on the beach on a Saturday, and all of a sudden some church bus would pull up, and out would come all these weird people with big black Bibles, dressed, in long sleeve shirts and long black slacks and little ties at the beach, and they're stomping along looking for converts, and we just grab our boards and paddle out, because the Christians would never go in the water. They didn't want to get their Bibles wet, I guess. Those Christians are smart. They would have come down in their board shorts and had surfboards and paddled out to us while we were stuck between sets, and they would have had a captive audience. But you see, you don't want to hear that kind of thing, and then the person who's bringing it knows maybe you don't want to hear it. So there's this big divide between the two. We want to talk with you about how you can share your faith, how you can reach these people. But I have to tell you that evangelism has fallen out of favor with a lot of people today. Even in some churches, you will have them emphasizing other things instead of bringing the gospel. For instance, they may have great social programs in the community. They're volunteering service to help with cleaning up areas that need help, or maybe building homes, or giving food out, or clothing. And these are great things. And by the way, we do all of those things here at Harvest and more. But they will sometimes do this in the place of evangelism. They'll say, this is our outreach program. I'm all for those things. We need to do those things. However, if in the doing of these things we leave the gospel out, it is a fateful omission. We need to engage people. After all, even if I feed them, or I clothe them, or if I even house them, and I've done nothing for their soul, then I have completely missed the point. There was an interesting article in USA Today a few days ago about a man that used to be an evangelist. He said he was, at least. And now he says he's a recovering evangelist. He says he used to engage people in what he called bait and switch methods. He said he would engage a person with the purpose of bringing the gospel to them. Now he's changed his approach. He says it's all bait, no switch, and he thinks others should do the same. He advocates promotion by non-promotion, evangelism by attraction, simply letting one's life speak for itself. He says, just live the life and let the spiritual chips fall where they will. Well, that sounds nice, but I suggest to you that isn't biblical. Let's take this as an analogy for a moment and illustrate it. Let's say that I'm a scientist. I know that's hard to imagine. But I'm a scientist who has cancer. Therefore, I am feverishly working to find a cure for myself and for others I know. One day, after a lot of effort on my part, I come up with a cure. It's a single pill. You take one time and your cancer is instantaneously removed. Now, what should I do about that? Try to make the most money I can and take my sweet time and getting this new product to the market that could save lives? How about befriending cancer patients and never letting them know that I myself have been cured, but just that I'm a caring scientist, but I don't want to, confront them about this. I'll just let those mortality chips fall where they will. Well, I would suggest to you that would be the epitome of selfishness. Some could even say it's criminal. The correct answer would be, if I were to find a cure for cancer, to get it to as many people as possible, as quickly as I could. If that's true of that, how much more true is it of the gospel message? For it is a cure even more significant than the cure for cancer, as wonderful as that would be.